Hello, fellow Star Wars fans. My name is Star Raptor, and welcome to my spoiler-filled review for the Book of Boba Fett. Season 1 streaming on Disney+. This is the first spin-off of The Mandalorian, but as we'll get into in this review, it's a little bit more than just a spin-off. It's more of a direct follow-up for Season 2. So we pick up with that post-credit scene, which teased the Book of Boba Fett at the end of Season 2 of The Mandalorian, in which Boba Fett and Fennec Shand arrive at Jabba's palace, taking out Bib Fortuna, and Boba taking up Jabba's throne. So we're going to get into what happens with Boba Fett at this point. This show really is all about Boba Fett making a name for himself as a leader rather than just a soldier for hire, mercenary, bounty hunter, right? So we have quite a bit of flashbacks in this series that relate to his time in between getting out of the Sarlacc pit to where he is in The Mandalorian Season 2. And we go further from there into what is actually happening on Tatooine, what's happening on Maz Espa, right? This whole big power vacuum where Jabba the Hutt is no longer in power for those 5 years after Return of the Jedi. And we have big adversaries in the Pikes. So getting started with things I liked about this season, this series, is the evolution of Boba Fett as a character, right? This character is a man of mystery. He had like 5 lines in all of Star Wars before he was introduced in Attack of the Clones and Clone Wars. We're seeing him change from being that soldier for hire to that leader. So it's really cool seeing how we're also getting a lot of that kind of backstory for Tamora Morrison, who plays the character, having that Maori culture influence where he was living with the Tusken Raiders, making a new name for himself, just living off the land and then coming back into society and taking those lessons he learned to kind of predict his future, turn his future, evolve as a human. I like the use of the flashbacks, how they used his bacta tank as a kind of transition piece to go back and forth. I thought that was a really good way of not just forcing flashbacks out of nowhere. It's like every time he goes into bacta tank, he's healing, and that's how we're actually seeing that take place. I will say the CGI in this series is incredible. Everything from what is happening with the Rancor in the finale to Luke, his CGI, everything in this is incredible, and it does push the entire kind of movie industry, TV series, entertainment industry as a whole forward with how much they implemented. Even from that season 2 finale of The Mandalorian, seeing Luke appear, this was such a big step forward. But even just the action in general, like that episode 2 where there's that train heist and the swoop bikes are going up on top of that train, and it's just such a spectacle. I will say the world building of Tatooine is freaking awesome, right? We're learning so much about, apparently the Tatooine used to be a water world at one point. I liked how we have all these different cultures, the mods, right? We have obviously the Tusken Raiders, just these different factions, that are on, the different Gatras, as they call them, that are kind of like pulling together the pieces of Jabba's empire. So we have a lot more going on with the streets of Maz Espa than I ever would have cared to understand we would get. I will say there's big connections to the Mandoverse, and this is a very big discussion point, right? Why is this show called The Book of Boba Fett? We're getting an entire episode where we have Mando, and an entire episode where we basically have Grogu without Boba Fett saying a single word. And I think that all is chalked up to the title, right? The Book of Boba Fett. I think of this as having different chapters, and even in a book, sometimes you get a chapter in a fictional story which has nothing to do with the main character. It's a little interlude or side story. The main thing is it paid off in the finale. So I do like the structure, the model that, the Filoni and Favreau are using to kind of implant the Mandoverse story through other kind of seasons of streaming TV here. And I think they did a pretty good job of giving us the reasons why we want to see Mando, why we're seeing Grogu, because they play a bigger role in Boba Fett's actual life. They are not completely just separated. It all comes together in the end. And the music, of course, is phenomenal. I really like what they did with the theme of Boba Fett. It's always stuck in my head. Just a very compelling kind of piece. I'm going to get into my negatives now. I would have liked to see a little bit more going on with the plot in general, especially with that present day plot. We get like that last episode, the penultimate episode is when we really get to see the strength of the Pikes. Why is Boba Fett so worried about the Pikes? I don't know why, if we get that completely. We know about the spices being transported. We know spice in Star Wars is an addictive drug, but I would have liked to see some kind of ramifications of what the spice is doing, why it's killing the people, why should Boba Fett even care about this? And the fact of another thing, right? What are Boba's motives for actually being leader? I don't feel like there was a strong enough argument on his case to be like, why am I going from this to that? Yeah, I don't feel like getting killed getting in harm's way of these idiots that are, bossing me around. Of course, that's a cool logic, but I would have liked to see a little bit more. And as far as Boba Fett's own personality as well, we know he went through a lot with Jango Fett. I would have liked to see even more, kind of going back to those Clone Wars stories of him with the Jedi and all different things like that. I think that would have been even more insightful. We get a lot of development at Boba Fett, but I think there could have been even more. I think there's some directorial things that were a little bit weird for me in certain episodes, certain chases on swoop bikes or those little scooters, mopeds, whatever you want to call them. There's little things like that were spread throughout this season. Pacing issues just kind of held it back for me to say, okay, this is an issue. And overall, like, there weren't as many hooks. There wasn't like a real hook that kind of kept viewers like me watching every week, other than being a hardcore Star Wars fan. It's like, most series have some kind of thing, a strong pull to have you going back for each episode. There wasn't really that many strong cliffhangers in this, which led it to be a little bit of a stray. Felt like it was, okay, what are we trying to tell here? We know that Boba Fett wants to, get rid of the Pikes off of Tatooine, but why? Why is this compelling? Why now? What's going on? Why is Mando here? Why is Grogu, like, integral to the plot? We've learned it at a surface level, but again, I think there needed to be a little bit more detail here. So those were just a few things I wanted to point out about what I liked, what I didn't like about the Book of Boba Fett. With that being said, I'm going to give it a score of a 7 out of 10. I thought it was good. I really was entertained. I really enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next with Boba Fett. Sure, could it have been better? Yes, but I think the story we got with Boba Fett is something fans have been wanting to see. Seeing Boba Fett kick absolute ass, but also seeing him being a little bit more than just that typical kind of badass bounty hunter. We get to see a little softer side sort of to him, but a little bit more intelligent, forward-thinking side as well. So what did you guys think of the Book of Boba Fett? Do you agree with my points? Let me know in the comment section down below. I have a ton of companion videos revolving around different speculation, different things with the Book of Boba Fett. You can check out those videos on the channel right now, and you can go ahead and support the channel simply by subscribing. That is going to do it for me, Star Raptor. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always.
Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Star Raptor.